All right, in this video, I'm gonna just go through the steps to add your refreshable braille display to JAWS. That was one thing I didn't go over in the other video. In order for JAWS to communicate with the refreshable braille display and for you to get the feedback from it, you have to add it to your settings within JAWS. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm just going to also walk through the process of turning on the refreshable braille display. You'll notice when it's in sleep mode, not sleep mode, when it's completely off, the pins feel like they're slightly raised, whereas when you turn it on, they'll actually go flat if there's no output to give you. And I guess when we're talking about this, especially if it's a new thing for anybody, it's just good to talk about the different ports. You have this Type-C cable input, the power button, and then the USB output or input right there. Those are the only ports to plug into other than the SD card in the back where you could have files saved on it. And then in the front, you have these thumb buttons, two on the left and two on the right of this little circle, which functions like an enter button. I'm gonna go ahead and, you gotta push and hold it for a minute for it to turn on, and then not for a minute but for a couple of seconds. And so now it says starting, and you'll know because the cursor is going around in a circle. It's not really a cursor, it's just like that little thinking wheel that we can see, you know, as sighted people. Right now I don't have it hooked up to the laptop, and like I said in the other video, what I found with this refreshable braille display and the Brilliant that I had used for a very, very short time with another student, is you have to use the USB cable, and it has to do with probably the district firewalls, because with these devices, there shouldn't be any issue syncing using Bluetooth. So now that it's already on, it says editor right here. So this would be more of like note-taking, like a note-taking option if you push enter, and then you can actually create a file. I'm going to plug the C cable in, and then while that is connecting, which I mean it's already connected right now, I'm going to go ahead and log into this computer. Okay, so now that it's an editor, like you have different options if you use the down arrow or the up arrow. The next one is terminal. That's where we have to go, but I'll just take you through the other options too. This is library. If they have books, like I suppose you could put them in there through Bookshare actually. This is file manager, calculator. And the calculator on here, like if you've listened to any of the other HumanWare webinars about it, it's a basic calculator, which is good for you know, our younger students. It's not a scientific one, so just, you know, that's something to keep in mind. And date and time, settings. This is a services, online services, probably for help. User guide. I haven't checked out the user guide, I probably should. User guide, power off. Okay, so power off is like the very last option. So where we're gonna go right now is terminal. And once you get to terminal, which is that second option when you first turn it on, you hit enter. And this is where it's going to give you either the USB connection or Bluetooth. And I'm going to make another video to show just how easy it is to connect through Bluetooth, because if you're lucky to have working in a district that uses Apple products, it's going to be a lot easier, I think, to use this as a separate, like, not a separate device, but to use it without having to worry about wires, which I'm sure for older kids especially, it's very appealing. When they have iPhones or iPads, they can use it a lot easier. Okay, so once you get to Bluetooth, the next option is to add a Bluetooth device. And you can have multiple devices on here too, and it's pretty easy to switch in between, I believe. Setting, USB, Windows, settings, USB, Windows. I'm a very slow braille reader. Back. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up to USB connection. Braille display is what it says. Okay, so I know that it recognizes that it's hooked up to the computer now. If you go through this whole process and you don't have JAWS turned on and you wonder, well, okay, what's going on? Like my refreshable braille display isn't working. What you have to do, because it didn't click right away for me. I was like, oh, I need to go to JAWS. So I'm using the laptop keyboard just because I naturally go to that. You don't have to, you can actually use it from here. So I'm gonna, just to show you that, hit J, and now on the screen I see the JAWS option. I don't know if you can kind of see that. Okay, and I actually will show you what I'm doing in a second here.
JAWS for Windows, desktop, folder view, list view, not selected, recycle bin not checked, 1 of 11. To move the items, use the arrow keys. To edit the selected item, press F2.
Okay, so because JAWS already recognizes this, I'm gonna have to go through and select it. So I'm gonna actually move this so I can take you through. I don't know if I can switch. I'm gonna use my vision for a minute to do this, because I think if we're doing this since more than likely the initial process is going to be us as their teacher setting this up for them, so I'm okay with that. I don't think that I'm going to teach this particular student the process to add a braille display just yet. This is something I would probably teach a student in junior high or high school if they've had a lot of experience using technology, and this student hasn't yet. So let me just show you those steps again. Okay, so you go to JAWS. I actually pinned it down here too. It doesn't matter how you open it up. Okay, so I'm gonna push enter. So there's a braille option right here. I'm gonna push enter.
Braille basic settings dialog. The active braille display is APH Mantis Q40. Default braille display : combo box. APH.
Okay, so you have to select the default braille display for it to communicate with your refreshable braille display. So there's a lot of different options here. I only have the Mantis on here for now. If I wanted to add the Brilliant, I could. I don't want to for this student. I'm gonna try to just introduce this one, and that's gonna be it for now. So if I go down to braille display,
add braille display ... button to activate, press space bar, Alt plus B, space.
So the space bar just checks the little box. Anyway, there's a ton of different braille displays down here. There's the Brilliant, Braille Note Touch. There's that one. There's the Chameleon. So this is the one that we're using. I'm going to click next.
Select the braille display that you want to use each time you start JAWS. If the braille display does not appear in the list, choose the back button and then select the one you want to use. Primary device : combo box. APH Mantis Q40, 2 of 2. To change the selection, use the arrow key, Alt+P.
Okay, so that's it. I mean, I didn't have to listen to all of that, but I just wanted to show you. Okay, so click OK, and there you go. So now it recognizes the braille display, and you can pretty much get started with the student, you know, teaching all the fun stuff of technology. So I'm gonna go through the steps of how to access Bookshare, and it's pretty easy once you get into it. But again, if you have a kid who doesn't have the experience of navigating the internet, that's just another step you'll have to teach, unless you just want to show them like, okay, we're gonna read a book off the braille display. I'll do that in a separate video, but hopefully this helps. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to also connect to an Apple device on another video, because I think that's super important. And I haven't found any videos out there yet that actually show this side of things. I've only seen like some of the HumanWare videos that show the screen recordings of like the person on the user going through these steps, and we don't really see like the physical side of it, like where you're actually, you know, making the things on the screen happen. So anyway, hopefully this helps.